all the different things. And that's when I really got to the nitty gritty that, wow, if we don't work on reprogramming our subconscious mind, no amount of coaches, no amount of taking action is actually going to get us to our goals because we're going to have these subconscious patterns and behaviors that bring us back. And so that's when I evolved into just fully going full force into life coaching with a specialization in inner child and generational trauma work. And I love that.
Evelyn Huynh is the founder of Evolve with Evelyn and soon to be doctor of chiropractic, specializing in nervous system healing, pediatric, and animal chiropractic. She is an inner child healing life coach and generational trauma specialist with over 10 years in the health and wellness space. As a first generation Asian Canadian, Evelyn turned her own healing journey into her life's work. She now supports clients at the intersection of mind, body, and soul through modalities including neuro-emotional techniques, spinal energetic, and somatic healing, helping them heal their nervous system, break generational cycle, and come back home to themselves. Known for making the deep work feel safe and judgment-free, Evelyn is based in Encinitas, California, and is on a mission to help people heal what their ancestors never could. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Evelyn Huynh to the Confidence Lab. Hello, Evelyn. What is up? How are you doing?
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Let's go. Evelyn, let's dive right into it. What I found interesting about you is that you did not just build content. It's like you have built a space where people can actually feel safe. And that's very profound. And at the same time, you are stepping to something completely different with chiropractic. I'm not even
Yes.
sure I'm saying it correctly. And even your non-toxic journey. I've seen some content that you made about it, and it feels like your work is evolving in a deeper way. And I want to start with that shift. Can you please walk us through this evolution of yours, please?
Yeah. So I started off, I would say, in entrepreneurship back in 2015 when I became a personal trainer. And I actually became a personal trainer because of my own fitness journey. So way back when it actually all started with my body and my health. I struggled with my weight. I struggled with anxiety, depression, and movement and fitness specifically saved my life. And from there, I became an online fitness coach once people started asking me, how can I work with you? But they didn't live in the same area that I did. And so that's when the concept of online fitness coaching came about. And then fast forward, people started seeing I was having such a big success with that. And they would ask me, how did you build this business? And so then I became a online business coach for fitness coaches. And then when that started growing, yeah, so I was a business
Oh,
coach for other online fitness coaches.
wow, that's impressive. Go on, go
And then from there, that transitioned into doing business coaching for other types of entrepreneurs. So I would work with photographers. I worked with just anyone who had a business. My specialty was helping them grow their business online. And then the pandemic hit, and I went through my dark night of the soul and really struggled a lot with childhood stuff that I didn't even know. I was one of those people that was like, I don't have childhood trauma. My parents are together. My
on.
family loves me. I don't have any of the big traumas that other people talk about. But what I learned in my own journey was that childhood trauma looks different in different ways, shape, and form. And for me, I actually had a lot of abandonment and trust wounds from childhood. Things from my relationship with my dad came up, my mom, my uncle, and it was really jarring during COVID when all of us were forced to stay inside. All we had were our thoughts and
Sure.
our phones. And so I
Totally.
think at that time it was really difficult for me. So I actually had to take about almost a year off my business and completely do a pivot. And at that time, I actually learned about inner child work, generational trauma work, subconscious mind reprogramming. So I got certified in modalities like neuro-linguistic programming, clinical
So,
hypnotherapy, timeline techniques, emotional freedom techniques, all the different things. And that's when I really got to the nitty gritty that, wow, if we don't work on reprogramming our subconscious mind, no amount of coaches, no amount of taking action is actually going to get us to our goals because we're going to have these subconscious patterns and behaviors that bring us back. And so that's when I evolved into just fully going full force into life coaching with a specialization in inner child and generational trauma work. And I love that. Your specialty was in that. I'm really great at what I do, but I felt like there was a big piece missing. And I think that was the body component because trauma is stored in the cells in our body. And I wanted to be able to help people release that from their body. And chiropractic for me has always been that one method that I saw where we can just get as deep as we can into someone's nervous system and actually create change. And it's been the most amazing journey. I started 3 years ago, this month actually. 3 years ago, I started chiropractic school, and that's opened up the doors to so many amazing modalities that I never could have dreamed of. And so I got certified in modalities like spinal energetics, dynamic body balancing, active release technique, which is a soft tissue diagnosis and management.
I've never heard
Um,
about these terms, by the way.
and biogeometric integration. Chiropractic itself has over 200 techniques within its profession. So I got certified and trained in a lot of them, and here we are today.
And there's something you said. Your body has traumas. Can you please elaborate on that?
So when you experience something that is too much for your body and your nervous system to handle in that moment, maybe because you didn't have the right coping skills, or maybe you didn't know how to regulate yourself, your body can actually store that experience in the cells of your body. And that's what we call a subluxation, which is basically where there's an interference in the nervous system. And so when that happens, your body stores it, but then we go through life. And then it's basically, if it doesn't get released, it starts creating other issues. So now that interference creates a disconnect from other areas of your body because your other areas of your body can't connect with it. Does that make sense?
It does. Because as someone who has just immigrated to a new country, I wanted to understand, is there some unstored trauma in my body? I don't, I had to find out.
I,
That's
I
something I had to
think
ask myself. Yeah.
I think all of us do because we're not just carrying stuff from our own bodies, we're also carrying stuff from generations past. So when I'm doing work with my clients now, a lot of times, a lot of the stuff that they're holding on to, their current problems and their symptoms and their triggers, actually aren't even theirs. It's their ancestors.
Wow. That wasn't. When you say it's like the grandfather, their lineage, they carry on all this trauma and
It can be your mom's, it can be your dad's, which is usually the closest contact. It can go as far back as your grandparents on both your mom and your dad's side. It could be your aunts and your uncles. It could be your great grandparents. So basically, if the traumas that our ancestors experienced, if they did not heal it, it can be repeated in future generations until someone does break in. That's what we call breaking generational cycles.
but to break it, you have to become aware of the trauma. How do someone become up? You would say by working with you, right? That's the answer.
See, the thing is that I wish my work didn't exist. I wish generational trauma healing didn't
Yeah,
exist
I
because
get
that
you.
would mean that everyone has a great relationship with their family lineage, but that's not the case. So the first way that you can become aware of your generational trauma, and the way that I do with my clients, is first write out all the things that you are experiencing troubles with. So maybe that's perfectionism,
Mhm.
procrastination, not thinking that you're good enough, thinking that you're too much, struggling with just being messy. Anything that you struggle with, write it all down. And then ask yourself, and by the way, like this is a lot easier when you have someone in front of you who's asking you the questions because they're holding you accountable. But sometimes when we kind of do our own prompts, it's a little bit more difficult. So the first step, you write it all down. The second step, you ask yourself, who else in my family struggles with this? And every time I've asked a client this, 100% of the time they can think of somebody else who struggled with it. It might be a sister, a brother, a mom, a dad, a grandparent. And so this shows you that everything that you actually struggle with, it's a pattern that has been repeated by somebody else before. So chances are it's not even yours. It's something that you carried. And so it's just helping you see that, like, because a lot of times when we struggle with this, we think that the universe is punishing us. Why do I not feel good enough? Why do I struggle with, toxic men? Why do I struggle with repeating toxic behaviors? And it's like, no, you're not the first one to struggle with this. This has been a pattern in your family for generations. And so now you get to be the one who breaks it because now you're actually aware that this pattern exists.
That was deep. Thank you for clarifying this for me and for anyone listening, basically. So, guys, take out those pens and write out all those traumatic experiences, things you're currently struggling with. And
Yes.
if you're getting a tough time doing this, just reach out to Evelyn. She will help you. Let's go. Oh, there's something I'm really curious about.
Yes.
I'm trying to frame it in a way. Was there a moment where you realized people didn't need more information but something else? Back to the transition to chiropractic. You said,
Mm.
well, oh, you lean into it a little bit. People has mental trauma but also trauma in their body, correct?
Yeah, I think I realized that actually really early on because people would know what to do, but then they wouldn't actually do it. So when I was a personal trainer, I would give my clients programs, right? And right, someone gives you a program, it should be easy. You go to the gym and you work out. But then the problem that my clients were experiencing at that time was that, Evelyn, I can't get myself to go work out, or I still keep grabbing the bag of chips. And that's when I realized that it's not about more information or more programs or more strategy. It's about what is creating resistance from you actually taking action. So strategy is like 20% of it, but the 80% is the mental and the subconscious patterns and the behaviors that we've kept all of our lives. And so, what is it that actually can get you to move forward? It's not more information, it's integration and processing and healing and releasing.
This alone would help a lot of people for those listening. My God.
I'm so glad.
This one is going to be a little bit introspective. Did your own healing change the way you connect with people and how?
100%. I always tell my clients that the things that I coach them or I teach them is 10% of what I actually studied.
Wow.
School from my certifications
Like the
because
summit of an iceberg, right?
I've gone through a lot of training, as you can probably imagine. But 90% of it is my own personal experiences as well as my experiences working with other clients. So, for example, with my line of work, people share the deepest and darkest things that have happened to them and to their family, right? Things that other people in their life don't know, things that sometimes even their therapists don't know because they don't feel safe with their therapist. And
Wow.
so they'll share with me. And for me, it's important that I'm able to hold that for them and basically be able to empathize with them. And so when I can work with, let's say, Susie, who has experienced this thing with this event with her, let's say, father, and I've worked with her through processing that. Now I have that experience as proof in my brain. And then I take that experience as now a part of my journey with working with people. And so then now if I work with Jennifer, who also is experiencing similar patterns with her dad, I can then take on the lessons and the learnings that I supported with my client over here. And so over the years, I've just accumulated so many experiences and stories from my clients from all walks of life, all different cultures, all different things. And so when I'm working with a client and they're experiencing something, my brain just goes through the files of experiences and then I'm able to utilize storytelling to help them see themselves in that shoe. So even though I haven't experienced the thing personally myself, I've supported people in overcoming it. So in a way, I have that perspective and that experience.
Powerful. And I think it's Tony Robbins who said that pattern recognition is one of the best skills you can develop. And that's what you do. It doesn't have to be through your own experiences, how beautifully explained. It can be through helping someone, one of your clients. That's beautiful. You talk a lot about the nervous system because given your recent background, for someone who doesn't understand, I know a little bit, but mostly for the audience, what does that actually mean, the nervous system, in real life for someone who just feels stuck? Like they don't understand the nervous system.
So I don't want to get all sciencey and technical because I think that bores people. So the way that I see it is like your nervous system is your body and then some. So it's like your physical body, but it's all that's within it and outside of it. It's the energy that you're emitting, it's the cells, it's the nerves, it's the mechanoreceptors, it's the proprioception, it's the way that your mind and your body is able to connect with each other, right? There's different pathways in our body, and that's why what's happening in the body affects the mind, and what happens in the mind and the brain also affects the body. And
Sure.
so for me, the way that I explain the nervous system is your nervous system is always telling you cues. It's kind of like your intuition. Your nervous system will tell you when you're dysregulated. So, for example, if you're stressed and you're triggered, then the blood vessels start constricting inside of you, and then your heart rate starts pumping. And it's all of this is happening automatically. So, your nervous system is always responding to the environment. And so when it's dysregulated, it tells you. But a lot of us don't actually know how to pay attention to what that dysregulation feels like. So for me, when I'm dysregulated, I start getting really jittery. I start getting really hot. I start getting overwhelmed and overstimulated, and my heart rate sometimes starts pumping. And then that's for a cue for me. Oh, Evelyn, your nervous system's dysregulated. It's time for you to regulate your nervous system. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It does, but how? So what I've understood that is that you have to find out, you have to listen to your body. Like you said, you through your own experiences, you were aware of how you are dysregulated. So people have to find their own a kind of self-awareness and find out how. And can people find this on their own, or do they need to seek help and someone help understand the
I tr oh, go on. Was there something else?
no, no, no,
Sorry.
no, go on, go.
I think that the human body is so magical, and I think that each person is capable of doing so much on their own. And especially when you don't have the money or resources to go and get help, you have to work on yourself first. And so people first it's the awareness, oh, I need help. And then it's what can I do to actually help myself? But a lot of people don't want to help themselves. They just want to stay stuck.
Numb them.
Exactly. And so they can do it for themselves to a certain extent. And at the same time, you can't see your own blind spots. I have my own coach. I'm a life coach, but I also have my own life coach because I
Hey,
can't
let's go.
see my own blind spots, right? And it's funny because my life coach will often give me the exact same advice that I'm giving my clients. And it's like, oh, yes, of course. Like I knew this. But because when you're in your own life, you are in it. There's this cognitive bias. You're seeing life from your own perspective, which is limited in certain ways. And so when you have somebody else who is educated in their own ways and is trained to look at your blind spots and is trained because they're looking at you objectively, they're not in your life. They don't have the
There's
same
no
emotional
bias.
ties. Exactly. So then having that support also helps. But when it comes to yourself, the first thing that you can do is ask yourself, when was the last time you were triggered? Everyone gets triggered. We get triggered by the tiniest of things. For some people, it's they drive and someone cuts them off on the freeway, and next thing your nervous system is off. Or when exactly, or when someone lies to you, and then your nervous system starts getting closed up. And so ask yourself, when I get triggered, what happens in my body? And
Right.
start putting words to those sensations, because then it makes it something tangible. And so, oh, I get hot and I start breathing faster and my heart rate starts picking up. Well, then what can we do to help you in that moment? Oh, I need to close my eyes. I need to take some deep breaths. I need to lay on the ground to cool down my body. So it's like once you know what's happening, the solution is pretty simple. You just do the opposite.
Oh my God, that's so the first step, listen to your body, and then
Yes.
create or find out some coping mechanisms that you can
Yep.
try yourself. And if you can't, just seek for help.
Yeah.
Like you did for can be therapy, life coaching. Beautiful.
Yep.
Thank you for explaining this process, Evelyn. Oh, this question actually you already answered. It was what do people understand? Why do people understand their patterns but still don't change? You've already answered this before, so I won't. Ooh. Do you think some people stay in healing without actually moving forward. Yeah, motivation porn, stay in this, oh, I'm healing, but they never like really make progress.
So you're talking about the people that are saying that they're healing, but not actually in the healing.
Exactly. That's my point.
Because I think that's different from, because if people are actively healing, I think that they're always moving forward, even if the progress is slow. But it's toxic spirituality or toxic positivity, right? Maybe you can call it toxic healing. I don't know. But yeah, I think there are the people who like reshare those motivational healing quotes on Instagram, take action, and you say it and you have every intention to do it, but you don't actually do it. And so I do believe that there are people who continue to stay stuck and tell themselves this illusion that they are healing when in reality they're not.
That's it. You answered it perfectly. Now I want to lean more into your new identity as a chiropractor. Did I say that correctly? Perfect.
Yes.
Um, so we already spoke about another side of your story that I think is just as powerful as your life coaching, which is your chiropractic practice. So, from the study that I have made on your profile and your podcast, I've seen your podcast too, you didn't come from a science background. Am I correct? Like,
No, I
but
did not have a science background at all.
I'm curious, what made you step into chiropractic science in general? Because you're becoming a doctor. That's my point.
So, what's funny is that when I was younger and I was in university, I actually took psychology because ever since I was a little kid, I knew I wanted to help people. And when I was in kindergarten, my report card, it was like, Evelyn has an A in problem solving. So, I'm really good at giving advice and helping people solve problems. And so I thought I was going to be a psychologist. And then I got to university and I took class. And the second part of my psychology class was like rods and cones in the eyes, and it was all science. And I was like, oh, nope, that's it for me. Nope. So I got a C in psychology because I sucked at science, and I never did science after that. And then, as I shared with you before, I know that the body stores a lot more stuff, and the kind of stuff that I really wanted to help people release. And there's really no other profession that does what chiropractic does, which is we are doctors of the nervous system. We are trained to see the interference. We're trained to find the interferences in your body and help relieve it through manual adjustments through the 200 and plus techniques that we have in this profession.
Two.
And
That's insane.
so I would say, sorry, what was the question again? I got on a tangent.
That's fine. Uh, like you did not come from a science background, but
Oh, yes.
what got you into the science stuff?
Chiropractic is science. You have to learn the anatomy, you have to learn the organs inside of it, you have to learn the chemistry of how the body works, the spinal anatomy, microbiology, like all those things are important because how can I deliver a force into someone's body without knowing exactly how the body functions?
Mm,
And so my fear and my lack of confidence in science was not as important as my drive to really master my craft as a chiropractor because I wanted to be a chiropractor so badly. I wanted to be able to create the kind of healing in someone's body, and this is the only profession that can do that. And so I have to get my ego out of the way. And because of that drive, that overcame the fear and my lack of, I guess, in science. And it was hard. I would say I definitely struggled through chiropractic school in a different way compared to a lot of people that go through it because I did not have a science background. So instead of starting all at the same place, I actually started like behind and basically had to catch up on those basic sciences and then keep growing. So,
wow, that was powerful. Have you heard about the term learned helplessness by Martin Seligman by any chance?
no.
Actually, basically, like you described, you see science, they go like, not for me. People see math, they go, not for me. So they've learned to associate that's the term, learned helplessness. They've convinced
Oh.
themselves, okay, I'm not do that. And so they don't take action, but the way you overcome this. I do have a follow-up question. Is there a person in particular that triggered your chiropractic journey, that inspired you?
Yes,
You
I
laugh, but
laugh because it's really been a whole, I've one of those lucky people that got to experience a full circle moment. So the doctor that really inspired me, his name is Dr. Tubio, and I started
shout out to
watching his
Dr. Tubio.
videos. I actually started watching his videos on YouTube, and then the other doctors, Dr. I think her name is Megan Mondragon. And I watch their full videos of them adjusting their patients. And, Tubio has this, called it the Tubio lift, which is basically like an occiput lift where you're adjusting C0, C1. And there's a lot of mechanoreceptors in that area of your neck. And so he would have patients that would fly in from all over the world that would drive
Wow.
hours just
Wow.
to come see him. And he would be booked out. And he originally, I think, was in like or something. And then now he's in California. And clients, like his patients, would just have the deepest emotional releases. And I just remember watching every single one of his videos and being like, I want to do that. And there's just this deep feeling in my body that like I need to learn how to do that. And so I did that for a couple of years, kind of the fence about going to chiropractic school. And then I eventually went into chiropractic school. Mondragon, she does a lot of soft tissue work before she adjusts a patient. And so I now notice that when I adjust patients, it's very similar. Like I really prioritize the soft tissue work and then going into adjusting their bone. And then other few months ago, I was at a seminar. It was a Webster seminar, which is a chiropractic technique to help with pregnant moms and postpartum moms. And Dr. Tubio was there at my school. And I just remember sitting there and I was like freaking out. And I saw him post on his Instagram story because I follow him on social media. And that's my school. And then I looked around and I kept looking around and I saw him. And I built up the courage to go up to him during one of our breaks. And I was like, thank you for everything you do. Like, you reason I came into chiropractic school. And he was just in so much gratitude. He's like, so nice to hear because, like, I think sometimes you don't know the impact that you're creating. And I just wanted him to know, like, the impact was so big that he inspired someone to go to chiropractic school to help even more people. So he gave me his number and said that I could shadow him anytime. And actually, in 2 weeks, I'll be driving over to his office to shadow him for a couple days. So,
Let's go.
yeah,
Okay, dream come true for you.
it really is.
I'm really happy. It's, I say, it creates a sense of euphoria when you meet your role models, people who had a deep impact on you, even more
Yeah,
when they are influencers, that you've never met the person. That's
yeah.
always fascinating to feel, to experience. Um, okay, let's go a little bit back to your life coaching because that is something that is important for me and the audience who's watching. Where do you think the imposter syndrome came from?
I think it comes from childhood.
Oh, let's go.
So I always tell my clients, that imposter voice that comes in, imagine it like a little kid who's just scared of failing, who's scared of, scared of not being good enough. And a lot of times those are stemmed from childhood. Not to mention, a lot of us grew up in homes where we were conditioned to play it small, right? We wanted to be big. It's like, oh, don't dream too big. Like, you gotta be realistic. You gotta, yourself down. And so
The
we kind
worst
of,
reality.
yeah. And so I think we've kind of primed to play small. And so when we go through life and now our soul wants more, we want to experience more, we want to do more, and we're getting outside of our comfort zone and we're having to stretch ourselves, we have to stretch that, like, right? Our thermostat is basically set very low in terms of what we think we're able to achieve and how big we're supposed to be. And so we've got to train ourselves to continue growing our light, to continue expanding, energy and doing more and being more and taking up more space. And when we do that, it's scary because our nervous system hasn't experienced that before. And so this imposter comes in of like, I even do this. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does remind me of what David Goggins say. Maybe you know who this guy is, the guy who
I saw
yelled.
him live.
Oh my God, really? Where exactly? Let's dive into it
Uh,
real quick.
David Goggins. So every year, which is a chiropractic college, hosts a Parker seminar, which is this giant chiropractic conference with
No way.
thousands of chiropractors that come. And so we have keynote speakers. So the last couple of years, some keynote speakers we had was David Goggins,
Oh my
Gary
God.
Vaynerchuk, Steve Bartlett.
Wow. You're just
Yeah,
the guys on my role model list. David.
yeah,
Oh, cool. So I'm
yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. Go on.
That I just wanted to say is I was able to see him live. He was amazing.
Yeah, and he speaks about this inner voice things. Like when you try something new, there's this voice that say, "Okay, you suck. You can't do this," and you're just spending this. So yeah, it just reminded me of Dave. This guy is, how can I say, turned on. Always. He's always like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think you're going to like this one. It's a quick, what did passing your National Chiropractic Boards Part 1, I saw the video by the way, actually prove to you about yourself?
It proved to me that if I could do it, anybody can do anything in life because I cannot tell you the story that I suck at science and I'm not good at science really kept me debilitated for a really long time, for 30 years of my life. And to have that debilitating fear, to overcome it, and to also pass that exam on the first try, which is also not very common because a lot of people do fail, really should.
Right.
Yeah, first try. Thank you. But yeah, I think like doing that, I one had a very deep appreciation for anyone who goes through a doctorate program who has to do exams because they're hard. Like this emotional component because you all go to different schools, but then you're taking the same national board exam, right? And each school
Oh,
teaches differently. And so you're just studying all this material and hope that you pass. And so I think the emotional, doing it, not knowing any other questions, feeling so unconfident, thinking that you failed, waiting, to get your exam results and then realizing you pass, it's like it's a whole journey. And I just respect the people who have been in the profession, who've done it, who are doing it. Like I'm so proud of everyone that, school and becomes a doctorate of whatever profession that they're in because the profession they have to do some sort of big exam that has that journey. And yes, I just have a very deep appreciation of those people and also a reminder of don't let your beliefs or your stories hold you back because at the end of the day, they're just stories. And if I was able to do this, then you can really overcome any of the things that you think that you can't.
wow. That's beautiful. Okay, and this leads me, you said something, feeling back, something like that. How do you learn to trust your own timeline when you feel behind?
I think you learn to trust your own timeline by realizing that every timeline is completely different. Because you only don't trust your timeline when you think that other people, like the whole world is going on one timeline, and then you're just over here floating out in outer space. And I think that's what a lot of us feel like. We think that everyone is, married, having kids, and buying houses. And so when you're not doing that, then you feel like you're behind. But the more people that I talk to, right, that I am vulnerable about my experiences of feeling behind in life, and then they share that they're feeling behind in this area of their life, then I have more evidence in my brain that, wow, there's a million different timelines that's happening at the same time. So who's to say that my timeline is ahead or behind, right? There's people who have had kids, who've gone married, who bought a house, and are now having to force themselves into healing because they're so miserable. They don't know who they are. They've lost themselves. They're in their 30s and they just don't know who they are. And now they're miserable and they're having to go through the healing journey. Or there's the person, in my shoes where they spent their whole 20s single pretty much and then focus on healing and going through all the schooling and the education, the career. And now I feel so certain about who I am as a person. And then I go and meet, single now, but then let's say if I go and meet someone and then we get married, we have kids, and I get to live my dream life. So it's not saying that my path was better or faster or slower. It's not saying their path was better, faster, or slower. It's just a different path, and that's okay. And so I think just having peace that your timeline is going to look different helps you take the pressure off of yourself.
Wow. So basically, do not compare your timeline with someone else's. You have your own timeline.
Yeah. It's easier said than done because you say don't compare, but the last thing we're gonna do, like the first thing we're gonna do is compare.
We do.
And so I think for me, it was giving myself the evidence that I'm on the right timeline. And for me, it was, am I fulfilled at the end of the day? Am I doing things that light me up? And am I fulfilling my life and my soul purpose? And for me, that is, right? And that means that I need to be single for a little bit because how was I able to be married and have kids, but fly all around the world to do seminars and learn all these different things and, business? Like I couldn't. And so now that my career is starting to have more stability and more groundedness, then I have the space to then focus on other areas of my life. But the whole point is I feel fulfilled with my timeline. I trust that we're all going to get to the same destination. It's just going to be a different path. So I think maybe looking at it instead of a timeline, maybe just looking at the path to where it is that you want to end up. Might be taking the 61 and then you might be taking the 78.
Yeah, different route. Let's go. I'm thinking about your non-toxic living. I understand the word. Can you please briefly explain, or just explain how did you get, first, what is non-toxic living and how did you get into this type of lifestyle?
So I've heard about non-toxic living for years now, and I always was like, oh my gosh, like the world is already a heavy enough place. Like
Yeah.
at this point, I can't eat anything, I can't buy anything, like it's toxic, right? And I think it's overwhelming. And when things are overwhelming, we tend to shut down to any idea of it. And I think that was me for a little bit. But there was a part of me that knew that the toxic products that we have does not help our body, but I just didn't have the space to dive into it. So 2 months ago, I moved in with my current roommates now, and one of my roommates has an autoimmune disorder. And so her one request in the house is that everything is non-toxic because it affects her hormones, it affects her health. And so now it's not just, oh, I want to go non-toxic. It's I have to go non-toxic because I have a roommate where it's a non-negotiable. So not toxicity is in everything. Like it's toxic. There's chemicals in everything, right? Like that we buy and use, there's chemicals in it. Even the cans, inside of the cans, there's a plastic wrap that has chemicals in it.
Yeah.
So these chemicals and these smells, right? Like candles are toxic.
Really?
Um, yeah, anything that has an artificial scent,
Oh,
that is toxic. And so
fabric.
perfumes, yes, fabric spray, all of that is toxic. And so anything that's toxic can affect our endocrine health, which is our hormonal health. And so people struggle with infertility, they struggle with hair loss, skin issues, allergies, breathing issues if they struggle with, products or the chemicals that come from toxic products.
I guess I had a lot of toxic products in my country back in Mauritius. But okay, that's fine. So non-toxic, it's literally not using toxic products. But
Yeah.
what do you use now that is non-toxic? Where do you buy stuff? How does it?
So I'm still making transitions in like my personal care stuff. Our house, we use non-toxic laundry detergent, non-toxic dishwasher soap, cleaning supplies, all those things. So in the house, that's kind of what we've agreed upon.
Mhm.
In my own stuff, I still haven't fully made the transition. So as I'm buying new products, making sure that there's not as many scents, scent if possible, researching the company and the ingredients and the products that's in it. And yeah, so that's going to be, slow journey right now for me.
Or we can ask ChatGPT, what are the non-toxic products I can I don't
Yeah.
everyone you just overusing AI these days. Okay. Let me check. Oh my God. We already 45 minutes and I did not that's a good time by the way. So yeah, I don't think I would have a lot of time for all these questions. You know what? Let's dive right into my favorite part. And if we have the time, we'll do some more questions. It's called the rapid fire questions. So
Okay.
basically, fun round, don't overthink it. I would just say the question and you let it
Okay.
out of mind. Thing your audience thinks you're good at, but you're actually not.
I people think that I'm really good at like designing and like make things look pretty, and I'm really not.
Okay. Yeah. Seeing your videos, we would think the. Anyway, let's not overthink it. That's the point. Something you believed in before that now you're like, what I was thinking.
Oh, that's a tough one. Used to believe.
Or we can skip it if you don't want to.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
skip it. Nothing's
that's fine.
coming up.
But the human body that shocked you.
Everything is connected. Something that happens in your foot can affect your brain, and something that happens in your neck can affect your knee. Like, yeah.
Powerful. Let's leave it like this. Something, okay, I think I will ask anyway. Something non-toxic that you tried and you were like, nope, not for me.
Think I haven't tried it yet, but I feel like the toothbrush, like the non-toxic toothbrush, or even like the straws, paper straws. I cannot do paper
Or
straws. I
you,
know what I mean.
sure.
Yes, I guess exactly.
I can relate to that. I don't like them. I mean, for the environment, not for me.
Yeah.
Um, one thing that instantly makes you feel like yourself again.
Can you repeat that?
One thing that instantly makes you feel like yourself again.
Giving myself the space to sit with like thoughts, like space to actually let what's in my brain come out and basically talking to myself. When I talk to myself, I'm able to more reconnect with myself.
Interesting. I do have some follow-up questions to that. I mean, there's no structure. When you say talk to yourself, do you mean like around your thoughts or leave
It could be writing down my thoughts. A lot of times I just talk out loud. Sometimes I record it. But for me, I kind of to myself as if like I was another person.
nice? I don't know where I've heard this, but since I'm bilingual, they say that if you write down your thoughts in another language that is not your mother tongue, it's your brain thinks it's someone else. So
I did not know that.
I don't know who said that, but that's probably because I speak Creole, Mauritian Creole, and French basically. But I write down everything in English, and subconsciously this worked for me. When I'm stressed, when there's something I'm overthinking about, I'll just write it down, and it transfers the energy from my brain to the paper. I don't know how it works scientifically, it's some woo stuff, whatever. Anyway, we are diverting. Let's get back to the questions. Um, right now, what's bringing you the most peace, apart from cracking people, of course.
I think it's just the season of life that I'm in. This season right now where there's a lot of momentum being built in my life, in my business, and after feeling like I've been surviving for so long, it feels very at peace. Just, feedback that I'm constantly getting from people, five people yesterday. So there's just this level of peace that like I did, like the hard work that I've been putting in the last few years. Like I graduate this summer, like there's this piece that the hard part is over. Like I fully feel like now I still have a couple big exams, so that part isn't over, but I feel like the hardest parts of this journey are over and I get to just bask in the beauty that is to come.
Let's go. Okie dokie. Oh, let's get philosophical. If your younger self saw you today, what would she say?
I think she would be like, "You are a badass." The other day, I had a client come and she brought her 12-year-old daughter. And at the end of the session, I like talked to her daughter and I was like, sit at home. What's your relationship with your mom? And just really like her and connected with her. And she cried and I just held her and she just like was crying in my arms. And then we brought her mom back in and then her and her mom were crying. And well, she's crying, but her mom was holding her. And she looks at her mom and she's like, I know we just met her, but she's Tia now, which is basically auntie in Spanish.
Tian.
So, Tia, like TIA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And so I don't know. I think because I have the ability to like with little kids, like I think little me would have looked at me and been like, I want that energy. Like I want this person to talk to me.
Let's go. That's beautiful. Let's see. We have 9 minutes. I do have one last closing question that
Yeah.
non-negotiable. Okay, you have time. What are you still working on right now, apart from your studies? Like on your,
Myself,
yeah,
feel like I'm constantly working on myself, but right now I'm in a it's been a long few years, but the journey of healing my relationship with money and finances and myself and teaching my nervous system that it's safe to receive more. So yeah, I'll say right now my journey is in relationship with money.
I will be a doctor soon. This will be a thing of the past. Even okie dokie, yeah, that was beautiful. Ah, my second favorite part actually after the rapid fire. Okie dokie. Before that, I did not ask you. Your family name is Huynh. How do you pronounce it? Huynh?
Huynh with an H in front of it. So pronounce it like
Huynh.
H-W-I-N. Yeah, exactly.
Huynh. What were your origins, basically?
So my family is born from Vietnam, but my blood is actually Chinese because of, immigration and all that stuff.
Okay, I'm just curious about your. Let's get into the final question. Okay, imagine someone from your Lotus fam. How do you call that? Lotus fam? Lotus family? Yeah, fam. Talking about you when you're gone. What would you want them to say about you?
I think I would want them to say that I'm a safe place, that I see them, that because of meeting me or being with me, that basically they gained more anything and evolved more after meeting me. I don't know if that answers your question. But yeah, I think I would
Yeah,
just want people to know to talk about that I'm a safe place.
I'm no right or wrong answer to this one. It's just whatever you want people, and that's beautiful
Yeah.
like that. And if someone is watching this, listening to this, and is resonating with all the things you've just said, how can they find you online to work with you, talk to you, find your content, whatever?
Yeah, the easiest way, honestly, is my Instagram at Evolve with Evelyn. My handles are Evolve with Evelyn on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and you can DM me. You can email me at hello@evolvewithevelyn.com. And just, I always offer my first session free just because I do so many different things. It's really hard for me to explain exactly. And so I just want people to experience it first for themselves and then decide if it's something that they want to pay for or invest in. So, yeah, if you ever want to work with me or have any questions, just know that your first session is completely free.
Let's go, guys. It's free. Go grab it. So, Evelyn, thank you very much. That was really an exciting, insightful conversation. I've learned a lot. So, thank you. Think you
So
want?
much for having me. No, this is great. So much fun talking with you. Thank you for asking such amazing and insightful questions. I'm really grateful for this opportunity, and I hope that everyone who's listening was able to, take something away from it.
Oh, if they are not, I don't know what they are doing. I don't know. Anyway, let's leave it like this. So, thank you, Evelyn. Yeah, talk to you soon. Let's go.